Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Chris Dearborn, managing director on Nasdaq's market intelligence desk, for a review on technical levels to watch in the Nasdaq 100. And Chris, I think really what the question is with Q3 earnings starting in earnest this week, have those macro headwinds been discounted at this point?
If you remember what happened last quarter, the macro headlines were the driver of what was going on until earnings came out. And that rally that we saw at the beginning of the summer kind of coincided a little bit with the earnings season. Granted, most of the companies did well, but at a lower bar. And now we're looking at a much lower bar for a lot of the companies. And the question is, how are they performing? Is inflation impacting them? Is supply chain impacting them? I mean, the major process here there is really policy tightening and global risk, and that hasn't changed. The unemployment report from Friday was in line with the numbers and shows a strong and labor market that's tight, which fits into the Fed narrative that they have to continue to cut rates. And they're going to keep cutting until they get inflation in line. We've got PPI and CPI this week. Those are going to be big inflation numbers for the market heading into earnings. But on the flip side of things, are companies still making profit? Are they able to pass on price to the consumer? Are they able to take margins? We're going to have to wait and see. Remember, a lot of the stocks are hitting new 52-week lows. Chip stocks are getting beat up here left and right. Microsoft made a 52-week low today.
Yeah. And Chris, I think you meant to say hike interest rates.
I
just want to make sure we have that clear. Let's talk about 52-week lows.
That would be something interesting, wouldn't it?
That would be something really interesting, and I'm sure something that the market would be exceedingly happy to see happen. But you made a great point about stocks hitting its 52-week lows, and I want to pull up your first chart here of the Nasdaq 100 for fresh technical levels to watch, because we are getting close to some pandemic era numbers.
We are. So we made a new 52-week low in the index again today. Despite the significant sell-off from Thursday, Friday into today, the index still eked out a profit for last week, up 0.6% due to the early October rally at the beginning of the week. We lost 4.6% between Thursday and Friday alone. So big moves down in the index. Major support is well below at 10,529. It goes to those pandemic numbers. You're not going to see them in this one-year chart that's up here. But if you're at home and you pull up a 3 to 5 year chart, you will see that area. Support's tight. We opened at 10,824. We need to hold that level. The 50-day moving average is much higher, 12,351. 100 days crossed below at 12,196. Resistance is tight. It's 11,480, 11,048, 11,200. And 11,440, which is the gap lower that we saw from Tuesday through Thursday, and that big move down.
And let's take a look at your final chart here that shows the constituents that are either adding or deleting performance from the Nasdaq.
So breadth is not bad at this point. We opened at the highs today, sold off significantly, and then have rallied back in the last half hour or so. So the lows, the breadth was about 15 winners to 85 losers. Now we're at about 40 to 60, 41 to 60 losers. Walgreens outperforming today. They report later on this week, up over nearly 5%, but that's only 2 points to the index. Moderna's up nearly 4%. Again, only 2 points. Apple's flipped to the plus side here, up 5%. But the big losers, Microsoft's off 2%, and that's taking away 22 points. And Broadcom's down 5%. That's almost 10 points.
All right, Chris, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.